Alright, here we are on shaky cam because layout for this next build won't fit on the bench, not even remotely. Of course, that's because I'm working on the Iron Man Mk38 Igor armor, or Igor, however you want to pronounce it. What we have here is a lot of large pieces. This thing is scattered all over. I mean, to give you an idea how big this thing is, that is the front of the helmet. I think this thing would give Obadiah's Ironmonger a run for the money size-wise. I mean, the gargantuan hand there. All in all, this is going to be an interesting build to put together. The instructions do call out for weights in a few areas to help this thing actually stand on its own, which is a good thing. But that's where we're going next. Stay tuned for more. Alright, at this point we're actually working on building this huge guy. What we've got here is the completed torso and head. Head's not glued into place and can easily can be removed, which I will keep, I'm going to leave it off for the painting. But as you can see, this thing, tore that apart. This thing is friggin' huge. Got movable shoulders. At least they will be. It is a friction fit inside. The rattling you're hearing is one of the weights I put in the back, but that's not going to be critical. But, all in all, you've got your standard Dragon overlapping panels to cover the seams. Some excellent detail. And this is, just one huge freaking piece of armor. I'm going to get back to work on this. Should be another really quick build. Okay. Have I mentioned before how fast these Dragon kits build? Well, here's another example of it. What we've got here is the sub-assembly completed. I won't say fully assembled because he's not glued down. It's not all glued together. But what we've got there is the Mk38 armor, the Igor suit, however you want to pronounce it. Luckily, I have got the weights in both feet to let him stand unassisted. You can see he's just at a foot tall, but since he's hunched over, he'd probably actually be taller than that. Again, it's a very well-engineered kit. I went ahead and glued these assemblies on his arms into position because they were too loose. They would flop. And I decided I didn't want that. Still debating what I'm going to do paint-wise. But as you can see, he is quite the impressive little model. Well, not so little. Okay, here we are, back in, for lack of a better term, the spray booth, where I have primered all the pieces for the Iron Man Mk38. What I've used is the Vallejo dark gray surface primer. And as you can see, it turns out almost black. Biggest reason I like it is it takes, it basically frees me from the step of pre-shading. I haven't primered the parts that aren't going to be visible, which is why, like the neck, the connection point, the end of the hands aren't painted. At this point, next step is going to be to figure out exactly what color scheme I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. We'll play that one by ear with the next update. Okay, still in the paint booth on shaky cam, but we have a lot of progress here. At this point, the entire model has now been given a coat of the Badger European dark green. I'm going to go for a camouflage pattern. I'm going to let this stuff set up for a bit. As you can tell, I didn't mask off the arc reactor, the eyes, or the repulsors on the gloves, but I'm going to go in and paint those over when I do the detail paint in a bit. Step 1 of paint done. Stay tuned for step 2. Okay, back at the workbench, because at this point pretty much all the spray work is done. What I've done is I've gone in with the Badger Armor Sand and just basically freehanded a camo pattern. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything official, but let's face it, at this point I was just looking for something that I thought would look cool. Once I get all the components put back together on this thing, it probably will. At this point, I've still got some washing to do in places, maybe some dry brush for some wear, and of course, I got to go back and pick out the eyes, the arc reactor, the repulsors. But we are very near the finish line on this one. Alright, here we are, final update on this one because, well, it's done. Went in, picked out the eyes, and what I decided would be spotlights up here, up top, in the shoulder thing, and the arc reactor in the chest. I didn't do any dry brushing on this one. I just went in with a block wash and picked out some of the areas. As you can see, this thing is a monster. I don't have it on my turntable because it won't fit. As you can see, it barely fits in the frame. All in all, I took a very simple approach. Please don't fall over. There he goes. Welcome to the joys of live television, folks. Oh, maybe not television, but live YouTube. He's too big for the turntable, mostly because his legs will overspan it. But you got the black wash picking out the detail on his back. This thing is a beast. In fact, let me show you. I'll move him back here. But please don't fall over again. You stay put. You guys just look at him for a second. Here next to him is the Mk38. That gives you an idea just how much bigger this thing really is. I mean, you could almost put Tony suited up inside that one. Now, as usual, I'm going to stick some stills, which will hopefully better show off some of what I did at the back end of this. I really like the way this kit turned out. It is a very large, very impressive build. Be ready to take up some shelf space, those of you looking to build it. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.